Cool. So to test this class in here, let me first delete all other classes. There we go. I just need this one. And let's together right click and we can generate and test. Now you can see that we have to generate tests for basically all of these methods in here. So let's in fact select everything. So just select everything and we'll change the names for these in a second. Let's also add the at before in here and make sure that this is JUnit 5, and you can see the class name is already done for us, as well as the package com.amigoscode.customer. If I press OK, you can see that we have a bunch of empty tests. Now here, if I open up the project, we have the correct package structure. So com.amigoscode customer, and then we have customer JDBC data access service, and then test. So the test name has the exact same class name plus test at the end. Nice. So what we have to do first, we have to set up this class so that we can basically start implementing the tests. Now, if we look at the dependencies that we need, so let me just collapse this. So dependencies that we need JDBCTeamplate and customer row mapper. So let's set this up. If I go back to my test, in here, we need to say private and then customer and then JDBC access service. This is our service in here. And for the setup, and in fact, let's just say under and then test. So this is usually how I do it, because then if you have multiple dependencies in here, then you know which class is which. Then we also need, so private and then customer and then row and then mapper. And this doesn't have to be new customer row mapper. So here we could just have this class just in line, and I need to basically give it a name. So there we go. And we can stick a final in here. So private final. We have the row mapper. Now let's say under test equals to new and then customer JDBC data access service. And the reason why I'm saying new inside of the setup is because I want a fresh instance of the customer JDBC data access service for each test. So before each is used to signal that the annotated method should be executed before each at test, repeated test, parameterized test factor, and test template. So you can see that we have a bunch of tests in here, right? So before each test, we get a fresh new object. That's why we're doing this. Now the customer row mapper, there's no need to have a fresh object in here. We could just reuse the exact same one. So now here we have to pass two things. The first thing that we have to pass is the JDBC template. JDBC template. Now JDBC template, if I say new and then JDBC template in here, so this guy, so I'll show you this guy in a second, but let's just also add the customer row mapper, just like that. There we go. Now this JDBC template, this, if we just use it like this, is not going to work. And that's because we have to define how do we connect to our database in here, because we're not injecting. So if you remember in here, have a look. So here I said that basically when we run the application, this is given for us by default. And if I go to this class, JDBC template, you can see that we've got these constructors, and one which we care about is this one where we specify the data source. So we can specify the data source. So let me go back, close this, and in order for us to set up the data source, we have to initialize it. We could put it inside of this class, but let's make it so generic that any other class can use it. And that's what we're going to do next.